Do not come. Do not come.
I'm gonna come.
You're a really dull class.
We're going to be changing the name of the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America, which has a beautiful ring.
Biden crime family.
Why, you're getting nervous, man.
How dare you?
And Corn Pop was a bad dude, and he ran a bunch of bad boys.
You're wrong.
Puerto Rico. I will never apologize for standing up for an LBT. I intend to resign as party leader. LGBTQ2 plus kids' rights.
You're a lying dog-faced pony soldier.
As prime minister. The level of admiration I actually have for China.
Oh, son of a...
But he called her a third-rate politician. He said there are communists involved and you guys might like that.
Good morning. Sunday morning.
Shut up, silly woman. America will never be a socialist country.
I'm in trouble.
America was founded on liberty and independence and not government coercion, domination, and control.
To collapse the liberal international order. He is the smartest man I know. You know the thing.
It's the Donald! Oh my God!
No, but it's not about, I know.
Everybody's always blaming me for everything.
Called the wrap-up smear.
It's estimated that 200 million people have died. Probably by the time I finish this talk.
Please clap.
Look, I was getting caught up in that chat. I just wanted to keep reading and reading. You guys are the real stars here. Now that you've introduced yourselves, wait, Jake Martin, for 6 months. It was the best of times? It was the best of times, correct. And then racism symbol? Isaac, that's a racism symbol, right?
It is if you try hard enough.
We're supposed to wait 10 minutes in before we give okay signs, Jake.
The ADL says that you can be canceled for that.
Oh, God, don't say ADL. He's going to turn into the Hulk.
Pencil factories, what?
ABF, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great. Normally you hold the okay sign down by your crotch, and then when someone looks, you call them gay, and then, yeah. So, anyways.
We can't really do it. I feel like we can't really do it because technically, like, doing it anywhere above frame is cheating, right?
Yeah.
Even if, because, like, if you do that, like, that's cheating. And that, honestly, you deserve to be punched for that, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, we need one of those cams that Nerd Slap just got that moves around so I can look down. Yeah.
Yeah, freaking Michael Bay up in there. Oh, Nerd Slap. They grow up so fast. Speaking of, our little VTuber, Hayden, just growing up so fast, buddy.
Yeah, my hands don't work, so I can't make the okay symbol. But I was doing it in spirit. But I got retweeted by Grums this morning. That was, that happened, and then I spent the entire day arguing with tards on Twitter. But it was fun.
Yeah, good use of your time, Hayden. Well done. They grow up so fast. He was a flesh man, and now he's I guess accurately, vampire VTuber. What will he be next? A woman with giant tits. We all know it, Hayden. Just embrace your inner true self. Isaac, you've grown up so fast as well. How you doing, buddy?
Doing good. We're coming off the heels of last night. Thank you again, you guys, for coming on. That was a good stream, and I'm looking forward to tonight. That I just have to say, the thumbnail of tonight's is like primo, I think, with the Giga Chad on the right. So I'm excited to talk about
It's called Arab Chad is the name of that. I was unaware. I typed in Muslim Wojak to start it off.
I might need that PNG for future use. So good job on that. Appreciate it.
Arab Chad is what you type in. All right. I guess we'll mention it real quick. Hayden.
Yes.
It's your time to shine.
Oh no.
So someone was wondering what the hell is happening because now other people are getting caught up in the VTuber cancellations, and someone's like, wait, what the hell is going on? And you explained what was going on quite well. Tell the chat what you said.
Okay. So basically this person is a very like innocent VTuber.
Hot. Very attractive.
No. I mean the one who made the original post, Rosie Belmu. So she's She's very innocent. She's very like apolitical.
Cow VTuber.
Yeah, she's cow VTuber. So she asked. I'm sorry if I'm ignorant, but I haven't seen this person talking about politics or anything like
Everyone
that.
do it. Woo! Say woo. Everyone say woo. Say it or else you're fired. Woo! Jake Martin, you are the best, and that is the best sticker. Shout out Jake Martin. All right, sorry. Back to your tisming on about VTubers.
Yeah. So Rosie was basically asking this.
Okay, so I really like your point here. We don't need to set this up all that much. I'm being honest with you. We don't need to know the background of the VTubers or really anything. Basically, she's wondering what the hell is going on, and I would like to know what you said.
Well, it's all about the scumbags, but I said, because she asked, why are we going after this person? And I said, Skew doesn't align with them perfectly, therefore she must be silenced. This is how these sorts of people operate. They'll continue to hunt everyone down that strays from their ideology until they have full ideological control. They have been trying to do this for a very long time. VTubing is just the new battlefield for them. And it's 100% true, because these woke leftist Marxists have recently moved into the VTubing space, and they are trying to get rid of anybody that goes away from their ideology, just like we've seen them do in politics, video games, movies,
comics,
TV,
Reddit,
comics,
Discord.
You name it. They've been doing this. VTubing is just their new battlefield, and that's exactly what they're trying to do now, because they're emboldened after Kirsha lost one sponsor.
Mm-hmm. And that's why you can't bend the knee at all. ABF?
It's the meme of the Reaper coming out of the bloody doorways and going on to the next one, and the VTubers is the current one. So
well, the Reaper got a real fun one. We will be discussing that here shortly. All right. So I like what Hayden was saying, because the left is at the part, like, it's stage where it's going to be like full-blown cannibalization and self-destruction and implosion, and I am here for it. And David Hogg, he's so gay, and even he's not gay enough for him. All right, but first, speaking of, do you guys remember David Hogg going on about how I don't care if they're putting chemicals in the water to turn the frogs gay. I think gay people are cool. Well, like, you don't want gay frogs? Do you guys remember that? Because he basically said that. I basically 50% quoted him on that one. Well, Isaac showed this off, and I was like, wait, how is the Alex Jones gay frog plushie in the White House press room? And so I did some investigating, and turns out it's the next news network. So got lots of fun pictures. Here, I'll zoom in a little bit. Lots of fun around the White House. So many photo ops.
This is amazing.
11 of these. Oh, and it keeps going. And then the finale is beautiful. Oh, I love it.
That's so great.
Imagine if she like tricked like a CNN reporter to hold it, and they snapped a picture real quick and then yanked it back.
No, CNN reporters are afraid of frogs ever since the Pepe meme started.
So this is the Reuters desk. He started invading the fake news, right? Okay, yeah, there's the front row of the press briefing. This is invading Reuters. This is the ABC control booth.
Yes.
It's getting all his gay juices all over ABC's chair. C-SPAN. This is their little bunker. And then this is where they have a bunch of old school like CBS and like actual like old school media stuff, and that's where they left it. Apparently, they snuck it in there. So there's now a gay frog.
Is that a license plate that says Obama on it?
Yeah, yes, correct. And Aloha Hawaiian. Yeah, so they snuck the gay frog up there. Apparently,
they have the gayest license plates with those rainbows. By the way,
it's so true. Turning the license plates gay. Oh, God bless it. So yes, I'm glad I scratched the surface on that one. That was beautiful. Shout out to the Next News Network for pulling that off. All right, Isaac. We like to talk about this fun little thing called the fourth turning, and with that, we have to have a rise of religion, and obviously that's mostly going to be Christianity here in the West. And I got this weird little article thing. It says, report young people are leading Christianity's comeback across the U.S. I understand how things like the fourth turning might be very abstract and out there. This is that hard evidence showing that we skid up off the bottom and we are finally starting to head back upwards. Thoughts on that, Isaac?
My thoughts are I think this is going to be much more permanent this time, where we saw with 9/11, you saw for a week or two after, big disaster, the churches were packed, and it fizzled back out again. I really, truly
National
believe
unity as well.
national unity. I think with it being the fourth turning and people after 2020, all this stuff, I really do. People are going to be returning back to our roots. I think faith in Christ is returning strongly in this country, and a lot of people in my generation are much more open and receptive to talking about it than even just 10 years ago.
It's Gen Z leading the way, and normally it's women who are more Christian, but with Gen Z, it's men are becoming more Christian and women are becoming less. So it's
which is what it needs to be.
It's young men are going to turn super based and super Christian and are going to save the future.
I saw
ABF, you ahead, buddy.
Quick little thing. The church down the street from my house, the parking lot is full of modified Toyota trucks. So that just says it all right
That's
there.
men. I saw a video today of a millennial school teacher who was basically crying because her Gen Alpha freshman students were making fun of her for wearing quote unquote pants that actually fit her figure, and they were calling her a whore. And one of the girls in class told on him, and she was like, "Were you guys saying that?" And they were like, "No," and laughing the entire time. And she was like, "The worst thing is they didn't even get suspended or punished." And it's like, "Shut up, you millennial bitch."
So I watched Saturday Night Fever, and yeah, they have a girl trying to be a whore in that, and there are consequences. And then he literally, main character John Travolta, drops a C-bomb on her and says she deserved it. It's like,
yeah,
fuck, things were built different a couple generations ago, which was what the fourth turning is about.
We are returning to that, though. We are returning to that. That's my guarantee.
Yeah, any last thoughts on becoming more Christian or young kids getting based or fourth turnings from you guys from your phone?
I would just say, anytime I meet guys, especially guys, my age, and just even in public, whatever the conversation comes up, even where I'm at, a deep blue area of the country, a lot of people are pretty based now. Just generally, they're more open and receptive to it, and you don't have to walk on eggshells anymore in conversation. So
ABF shirt, and rocking the Americans. Like that,
Yes.
that could be like an Under Armour shirt, like that sort of stuff. You just see more and more, like things like more like Gadsden flags are very. Oh yeah, speaking of, you just see that sort of stuff more middle of the road, not necessarily like MAGA hat, just like America kind of stuff.
Yep.
Oh, more and more and
Just
more and more.
Patriotism in general.
love of country is on the rise. Yeah.
Yep,
Absolutely.
forward turning, and that's what it's all about. Is we get individualized and like, let's just have fun. 60s free love, socialism. Like, let's try it out and stuff, and then everything gets destroyed, and then that brings us closer together because we go through hardships, and then we turn to God, which makes us much better people, gives us those guardrails back on society, and then we start building it back up. And then it gets too good and we do it all over again. And hopefully we don't screw things up too bad once we got like full-blown space lasers and spaceships and everything. Well, obviously we already do, but publicly. Yeah, so hopefully, because my thought is this, they call it the end of history. They want this to be the end of wars, but they call it the end of history. That's basically them saying they want to put a stick in the turnings, the wheel of civilization. And while we're at the bottom, they want to destroy us and then shove it into a lower wheel of civilization where they put us into a sci-fi dystopia or post-apocalyptic thing. Whereas if we can get past them trying to put that stick in and get back up, we can go on a whole new wheel and go into fucking space and actually like finally evolve and get these people off of our backs. So it's basically, do we want to do Star Trek or do we want to do like Blade Runner or like 1984?
Well, I mean, their goal was to like reenact the fall of Rome with the American Empire.
Yes.
And they missed a very important hitch. If they'd have won the last election, I think they might have gotten there, but they missed it. And we broke that stick. The wheel continues to turn. And now we are, like Isaac's podcast is called, we are entering a new golden age.
The very beginning. Yeah.
we just got to get past the whole World War III nuclear weapon situation, and then once we do, we'll be in the clear. But
well, I say when we colonize Mars, we dedicate it to Jesus Christ. We plant a cross, and we just call it New Christendom. That's what we call it. I'm good with that. So
I'm not a Christian. I'm pretty okay with that. ABF, you got any thoughts?
I'm okay with it too, and I think there's a lot of people out there that aren't religious but still appreciate, Christians, because there's not any sort of bad messaging within the religion, in my opinion. So
nope, it's the built society. So
yeah, all religions have done lots of bad. Christianity done plenty of its fair share of bad, but as far as religions and what they've done for humanity, it is by far the #1 winner. So.
Yeah, and as far as like it in current times, like we're not waging any holy wars and things that. Or at least I hope we're not going to.
Like the is it the evangelicals? They do like 90% of like donating like service and whatnot. Like they are the
charity
most, like,
stuff.
Charitable people on the planet. So yeah.
Well, when your religion tells you charity is part of it and not to take from other people,
So they told me Christian nationalism was bad. So I'm like, well, fine. We'll just turn off Mars Christian.
They didn't say anything about Christian planetarism.
Christian planetism. That's right.
Let's put that on the back burner though, because we still got some Earth problems to deal with, sadly. And I like to start early with the terrorists, and they're so terrifying, and the economy is doomed. I haven't noticed like any price changes and stuff I buy like at all, and the tariffs are practically over. Trump is an idiot. Trump will kill us. Trump will never get a deal. But then also Trump, U.S. announces China deal in Geneva. All right. So this obviously, they still got to get signed and make it official, but we got China trade deal. That's excellent. What was he doing today? Oh, getting the, red carpet normally you'd say, but purple carpet rolled out for him, getting the VIP treatment.
Purple is royal in their culture, so that's why
they only do it for
use
kings.
purple instead of red. Yeah.
Pimps understand. Yeah, no, purple is the best color. Literally, the color spectrum, purple on top. Like literally, red is the worst color.
100%. Purple's best color. Look, right. Trump's even wearing a purple tie.
That's true.
He knew. They rolled out the royal carpet for Trump, and he decided to match the aesthetic.
Yeah, those things are carefully thought out as to what tie and all that stuff. So.
What if he did a red and white checker tie to match their silly little headscarves?
No. You'll notice
when they kill him for that.
I think he's the Sultan. He also wears a purple headscarf, not red and white, not white. He wears purple. It's the royal color.
Yep.
Purple MAGA hat. I would buy that.
Oh my God, I would too.
Well, for Easter, we drape a purple scarf on the cross. Every Easter at every church, you put a purple scarf on it.
Isn't your pimp hat purple?
I don't know if that's exactly the same, but yeah.
It's got leopard print, but it's not purple.
My bad.
Well, hey, at least we all agree that it's purple's the best color. Shout out to B-Man with the Oh, wait, I thought they were camels. They're horses. Sorry, ignore my racism, B-Man. I apologize. All right, so yeah, they rolled out the purple carpet, and it's really nice to have the president of the United States be the leader of the world again, right? Do you guys feel it?
Yeah. But real quick, before we just gloss over that horse escort, that is again, they only do that for their royalty. It's the first time in history that another world leader has actually gotten the horse escort.
It's the first time in history a world leader got a portable McDonald's delivered to him too when he was visiting. It's awesome. I love
it. Pretty freaking amazing.
I love it.
And I think there's a lot of respect going back and forth.
Yeah.
Right now.
Oh, well,
they served Trump a drink and he didn't drink it.
Yes.
Do you guys know the scuttlebutt about the Las Vegas shootings connection to Saudi Arabia and how Trump administration might have dealt with some of the heads, and then we got Prince Solomon or whatever put in charge of everything, and there were some fun stories about how that actually went down.
I could go off on that for an hour.
Yep, me too.
So it seems like Trump did one of his, like, you know, he got CIA, he got secret. There's lots of stuff we don't get to learn about where Trump is going like full Godfather, I imagine. And the Saudis are obviously the worst, but we need them on our side in this trade situation, especially going up against BRICS. Monumental to have it. Plus, trying to get them into the whole Abraham Accord so we can chill out this whole not starting World War III in the Middle East situation there, Netanyahu. Like, Jesus Christ, bro. So very good on all of that fronts, and they were like one of the big sponsors of all like the Wahhabism crazy Muslims. So I say, all in all, having them on that leash, it was $600 billion investment in America, whatever. I'm happy with it. Everyone else happy? Any complaints?
Very happy.
Yep.
Very
We're gonna be selling them weapons. That cool?
Like I was saying the other day, if we're gonna continue the war machine, this is one way to do it without.
I'd would rather sell weapons to an ally than give them away for free, like we've been doing to not so allied countries. So.
Yeah, and Shmooshmrain. Yes. So this is also how you prevent world wars. You have economic agreements to where it's more, because the problem is war is profitable and you get to do fun power stuff, moves, and all your fun Game of Thrones and whatnot. So you got to make it to where it's more profitable to not have war than to have war.
Yep.
Yes.
That's how you prevent war. That, and you also, as he mentioned a lot in this speech, we're going to have the strongest military ever, and we are going to be a force for good. And yeah, you all better get in line with it. I'm liking it. We're the leader of the world again.
And we don't want to economically isolate countries and terrify them like a Treaty of Versailles situation, you know, and cripple them and make them get all defensive and lash out. You know, you want to have these reciprocal trade deals. Even if you don't look eye to eye on everything, just be civil the best you can.
Yeah, we actually are the world police. People don't realize how large our military is. They might think that they do, but just one example, we have 11 nuclear aircraft carriers. The next country, the next largest country to have aircraft carriers they have like 2. And we have like nuclear subs. We have like 3,000 bases all across the world. Trump is acting like the big dick.
Yep.
As he should.
And it was China was building tons of ships, and we didn't have any ships being built under Biden or whatever as well. So even though, we do have a gigantic army, a lot of it needs updated. We had 2 jets recently just falling off aircraft carriers into the ocean.
Well, I mean, they forgot to put a bungee cord on it to hold it down, so no big deal.
But it's okay because we're getting rid of the DEI in our military, so that won't happen anymore. We just got to root them out first.
We're still having plane crashes and stuff, but takes a second. We got. I'll give them 6 months before the DEI stops crashing planes and stuff. All right. Speaking of DEI, hold on. Sorry, we actually have a clip. Pedro Pascal, where are you?
Almost said the F word.
I almost used the F word.
I talk about how you shouldn't use the gamer words all the time, because then when you like really need to have an oomph on something, your gamer word doesn't mean as much. You got to save the gamer words for appropriate times, such as when you see David Hogg. That is the correct moment to unleash your fury.
Candy ass.
What is
get
this
away with that one on YouTube?
Flaming homo up to? Hypocrisy. The name is Hogg. DNC vice chair now opposes gender racial quotas, and you'll never guess why. So this was from the 10th, so a few days ago. So there's more to the story after this. So basically, he was saying that DEI is bad, and we need to Okay, here we go. So the problem is they have gender quotas for executive positions. That's the G and ESG. Turns out the RNC also does it, but the DNC is super funsies. And someone who lost by a bunch, this fun little Native American attorney, said, "I'ma sue y'all. This vote don't count no more, because y'all discriminated against 3 women of color candidates." Alrighty, that sounds fun. And David Hogg says things like women's rights are human rights. And who is punching their mic arm? All right, and then here we go. This is what I was looking for. sadly I had to look at Donna Brazil. All right. So David Hogg says, so like, I don't, want to bar people, but I'm going to say it in like normal and straight, but you guys just imagine in your head as me saying it's super fucking gay.
Yeah.
But to get in the bureaucracy of the DNC, we have a gender balance rule at the DNC because of course we do. Seeming a little flippant there, David Hogg. And then there's crosstalk. And then a Republican from New York says, by the way, the Republican Party does it too. If the chair is a male, then the vice chair has to be a female. So
yeah,
a Republican bragging about being woke. Smart. And then it says, well, that's interesting, is that that's even more progressive than our vision, which is that the chair doesn't count towards the gender balance rule that we have. Frankly, I don't even know if it makes sense for us to have the gender balance rule anymore in this day and age, because I want to focus on whoever's just best at the job.
What a crazy perspective to take.
He got power. He got power and discovered meritocracy.
He sounds like a radical right winger or something. What the heck is going on?
The best part of that article is at the beginning, they basically describe him as like a mentally disabled child and then say he's the one who can reach out to white men. It's the fucking craziest thing at the beginning of that article.
Yeah, and why he counts as a male? I beg to differ.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
No, they
Broken
talk
clock
about, like,
is right twice a day, right?
yeah.
All right. So, and then this was him on with Bill Maher. I think he also said some like Israel thing, and then he also he did a couple of things that made them mad. So, what does that mean? Well, I was told we can't overturn flawed elections that broke rules, but apparently the Democrats can, because DNC voids David Hogg's vice chair election due to party's gender requirements. The crazy Native American bitch did it. Yep. So they're both going to stay in until they figure it out. So they're also going to be stuck there for who knows how long, not as the real leaders while they're trying to like do the re-election and all this crap. So they're already in disarray with this idiot, and now they're going to say, oh, well, the election doesn't count. Well, that's like, oh, well, then they're going to do a re-election. But no, they have to figure it all out. And there's probably going to be like a lawsuit or two, and it's going to be a whole clusterfuck. So the DNC is going to be without any real leadership for months.
Good.
Thoughts?
If only the Democratic Party could have elected people in a democratic way.
Keep in mind, they quote unquote elected David Hogg.
He probably sucked his way to the top.
Does anybody know
This is true.
how old, off the top of your head, David Hogg is?
22.
25. He's 25 years old. They elected him as the leader of their party at 25 years old.
So, and
I'll be 25 in 3 days. Should I run?
So
absolutely not.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right. So he was saying he first got in trouble because he was saying he was going to primary all of the olds, all of the like people who wanted to be centrists. So he was trying to be like a little crazy commie. We need to get more AOCs in. So he made the establishment mad with that. But then when he went on Bill Maher, where they're all like, well, let's maybe talk somewhat sanely, he got a little more establishment moderate, which then pissed off the crazy left. So the left and the establishment were mad at David Hogg, and they said, suck our dicks one more time, and then you get out of here.
Well, that's a clip.
Good riddance.
Basically, yeah, that's basically exactly what they did.
TLDR. All right, and another feel-good story. Letitia James, grand jury bitch, suck it as well.
No one is above the law whatsoever.
That's a Letitia James quote.
Yeah, right. I've heard that one a couple times now. ABF, I'm throwing something in private chat. So an older white gentleman went to one of the like a little event she was at, and he had a fun little time calling her out for that. So we got a little 22-second clip. Let's watch him before he gets escorted out of the event. All right, see you, Tish. that bitch out of here. All right. Roll the clip.
Yes, my question is for Tush James. Will you apologize to President Trump for wasting millions of dollars and the state of New York for a witch trial? And how does it feel to know that you will be in prison for mortgage fraud? How's it feel? How's it feel, Tush? How's it feel, Tush? Yes, my question.
Based.
All right. So all of you who want to say, Pam Bondi, do something, just take like 50% of your time spent doing that. Go do this instead. It'll be a lot more productive. I promise you.
But also, Pam Bondi sucks. And for those of you saying that, I agree with you.
But literally anyone else, Matt Gaetz would have sucked. Anyone else they would have put in would have sucked by the standards we're holding them to.
There's a process
that were non-existent in Trump's first term.
Yeah, you're correct. There is a process that they have to follow. They have like certain things that they have to like wait to do and stuff like that. But
we'll be discussing that briefly in 13 more tabs or so. 80% of liberals want Elon Musk in prison. What?
Why? What did he do?
What?
It doesn't matter. 90% of them want me in prison. I learned that on Twitter today.
So this was the first question. Elon Musk helped create Doge. Some claim that Doge has engaged in unconstitutional activities, while others support Doge's efforts to reduce government spending. Would you support a hypothetical law that would ban Elon Musk from serving in government? And then here's where they asked a follow-up question of, would you support a hypothetical law that would imprison Elon Musk for his role in Doge? And what did it end up being at? Finds that 54% of likely voters would support a hypothetical law that would imprison Musk for his role in the Department of Government Efficiency. So it wasn't even a majority of people said that they wanted to put him in prison. And
it wasn't even a majority of voters. It was people who told the pollsters that they vote, and that's where you get put in the likely voters category.
I was going to say there must be a huge overlap of this percentage of people that have just watched mainstream media only.
Yep.
And I will say, polls are you shouldn't trust them, but Rasmussen, they're the only ones you can really put any sort of stock into. So
for now,
a lot of people aren't listening to the leftist propaganda, but for now, the Elon Musk thing has made them deranged, but I don't think it's going to last the way that the Trump derangement syndrome lasts. I feel like it's already faded quite a bit, but
maybe it's good that there was a second punching bag in the works so that, Trump could get a little bit of relief,
True. Also, Elon's like going back to not doing Doge stuff, so that would keep him out a bit. So
yeah, he was only going to do it for the first, whatever it was, set amount of time. And then Doge would have, that was the whole point, was axe things very quickly. Then that's gone. And then we'll wait and see what needs to be brought back.
Yeah. We'll go back to liberals praying that the starships will crash when they're trying to land on the pad.
Yeah, they're wonderful people. I can't imagine how they are going to manage to win, but they're going to probably do better than we expect. I hate to admit it, but I'm a little worried about the midterms. But we do have them doing their best to alienate every last one of their voters. Senator Ruben Gallego, ABF. This is one of your guys. How do you pronounce his name? Ruben Gallego?
Gallego? Gallego. Yeah, it's
Senator
Gallego.
For Arizona, Democrat.
I don't know how. There's tons of people that wear cowboy boots in my state, and somehow we always end up with Democratic senators. I don't understand it.
Weird. A border state is weirdly more Democrat than it should be. I wonder how they're doing that.
But everybody votes red for everything else, except for the senators. I just don't understand.
What's the voter ID situation in your state, ABF?
There are a lot of... they need to clean up the voter rolls.
Yeah.
Put it that way.
That's the problem. And then that gets into... when you're winning down ballot and you're absolutely stopping them, but then somehow Joe Biden gets all the votes at 3 a.m.
Yeah, the higher power votes.
But they get but all the down ballot, it's because they only vote for the top 2 or 3.
Yep.
Because they're having to rush them out. It's fraught.
There's that. There's also legit, first time voters was a big thing in this last election, right? And people didn't do enough prep work before going to the poll for the first time, and they didn't look up, or read the sample ballot that you get in the mail. There are a lot of options, and it's overwhelming, and a lot of people just choose the main ones. You need to go over all of them. It takes like 15 minutes.
We just need to encourage the tartest of them all. Just click on the Republican for all. And then you'll still have to vote for like some random ones, and then those you can leave blank because they don't really matter, or some
That's
school
the
board
weird thing is a lot of those ballots, it is Republican for all, except you're in Arizona, you also voted for Katie Hobbs for some reason. It was all Republican, but also Katie Hobbs.
And she ran a basement campaign just like Biden did, because every time she went out and said something, her polls went down. So yeah.
It's funny how ink runs out in the middle of the night. It's weird.
Yeah, urinals shut down election counting, except for the people who kept counting. Don't ask questions. All right, well, back to this moron. So, ABF, you'll be happy to hear, he's releasing an amnesty plan for illegals. You happy about that? All right, so remember when the Democrats had their border bill where they're like, we'll give you a couple dollars for the wall. You'll never get it, or we won't let you build it, but we'll totally use the money for a wall. But we have to have unlimited immigration forever, and we're raising all the caps on everything, and it's the exact opposite of a border bill. Well, he basically just re-released that and wants to do amnesty and we'll totally do e-verify, like we swearsies. Also, like, yeah, like we'll get all them criminal illegal aliens out of here. You mean every single one of them? Yeah, some border wall construction, but also amnesty for everyone. We're raising all the caps, including country caps, so that way we can get all of the Indian and Chinese immigration, just what we need more of.
Do you know why he's proposing all this stuff? He's proposing it because, like you said, they proposed it before. And what was the rhetoric when the bill didn't pass? It was that Republicans don't want a wall. That's exactly what they want to echo again, is they want to put the one thing in there and a whole bunch of bullshit. And when you vote against the bullshit, they're like, oh, but you don't want the wall.
Yeah, they do
dirty.
this at a federal level all the time as well, where they will cram in stuff like, oh, yeah, okay, this bill is about funding for schools, but it also grants amnesty to 30 million illegal immigrants, and we also get to take over the rights of these different sectors outside of cities. That's all going to become federal jurisdiction, and we're also going to make these things legal and these things illegal. And then they focus on the one thing and they go, well, you voted against funding the wall.
Correct. But the thing is, back in the day when they were doing that was a good tactic. But now it's even crazier because Trump actually has stopped illegal immigration for now. We got to get him out, but he's actually stopped it. So that plan doesn't work quite as well.
But it doesn't, but they still are stuffing bills with pork, which is all of that extra bullshit that they want to get through. They compromise on one little thing and they try to run the bill on that and say, hey, look, this is what you're voting for. And then a lot of people will vote yes on that, but they've crammed in a bunch of stuff. And if you're paying attention, you see all the stuff they're cramming in.
The only omnibuses I want are manga and comics. I don't want Congress with omnibuses.
Yeah, agreed.
We need to bring back, or at least make it to where it's single issue bills.
Yes.
Get rid of the bills being so heavy you have to wheel them out on a freaking Harbor Freight cart.
Yeah, 5 hours before you vote on it.
Yeah,
I just want a single bill that says repeal the NFA. That's it. One page bill. That's all I want.
And
you can make
parentheses and the Fed. All right. Yeah, well, we could do a few sentences probably. All right. Back to the 27 tabs. Judge allows IRS to help agents locate illegal aliens through tax data. They try to block it. Not happening. So the plan seems to be they want to actually go through with some of the mass deportation stuff. They're starting with just the normal criminals, but it seems like they kind of want to go after a little bit of everybody coming up here shortly.
Yeah, it was criminals first. Then they started focusing on independent countries. They were like, okay, we're getting a plane ready to go to this country. So go round up all of the illegals that we can cram on this plane to send them back to their country. And now they're like moving into another sector of, okay, we're weeding more of them out.
Well, they're all criminals, but you're right. They were going after the violent, higher profile criminals first. And now they're but I don't think they're stopping with that. They're going down the chain, and I'm happy about it.
So I will say, for full transparency, what I was just talking about with that is for the ones who are already set up to be deported. So it's not just the normies, it's the ones who already have deportation orders who they can't find. So it's about tracking those who are already supposed to be deported down.
Yeah.
And yeah, obviously, ACL, you said, wait, you're going to deport people who have deportation orders? We can't have that. Also, ACL during lockdowns. Let it happen. I hate them so much.
I just want to say 10 out of 10 for Tom Homan so far. 10 out of 10 for him. I'm very proud of him.
He needs more people, though, and Trump wants him to get more people. More on that in a moment. So remember the whole, Twitter, here's a day in my life. I'll get, the wine bar and all that stuff. And then we went up to the rooftop. Insurrection Barbie did her own version. It's pretty good. Roll clip.
As an evil fascist Trump supporter, I start my day, of course, by checking the Doge tracker to see how many bottom-dwelling bureaucratic parasites Elon fired overnight. I then go to the gym so I don't have to rely on a DEI doctor or a nurse dancing for TikTok to save my life. I then look for illegals from my balcony to help Tom Homan. I then get my daily dose of indoctrination. Then I have to explain to my dog that just because he's part of the group Black Lives Matter does not mean he's actually able to fight fires. That's for lesbians in California. I then do some light reading in the afternoon and arrange some new art on my wall. I then eat teeny tiny food because maha. Finally, I light my patron's aid candle to RFK for as an evil fascist Trump supporter.
All right. Women can be kind of funny sometimes. All right. Very asterisk. All right. Dan, Bun, Gino, just give us updates. We just need updates. Please, some updates. I like to update you on some things that are going well and some things that we can and will do better. And he says lots of good things that sound good. And I'm happy and I'm glad. And there's so much. I'm not going through it. We have too much to do. But this is what I want. And every time he's done one of the updates, everyone's been pretty happy with Dan Bongino. Also, apparently the number 2 at the FBI is a big person who is in charge of what they're actually investigate and whatnot. And
the big stuff from this is illegal aliens, crimes against children, violent crimes.
Yes.
That's what you can take. They are focusing on all of that. Thank God.
Yes, thankfully. And though it can still be some talk, and they might not be moving on the Epstein stuff as fast as we like, but
that shit's 20 years old. We can wait a couple of months longer or whatever for that. It's 20-year-old shit.
ABF, what were you saying?
What about concerned parents at schools asking questions about what bathrooms the kids are going into? Are we going to have any investigations into those parents at all?
That's one of the problems. Is they have not recaptured the FBI. If I'm not mistaken, the guy who was some of the people in charge of that are still in charge of things. So
insane.
And
get him out of there.
And then Kash Patel, he worked with the New York field office, so he's buddies with them, and they're one of the big problems. And then Dan Bongino hasn't actually worked in the FBI, so there's just a lot of stuff he doesn't quite understand, and people he doesn't know and whatnot, and he needs people around him. And
there were the guys,
lots of ego clashing and stuff, so it's gonna be really difficult.
There were the guys from the Unsubscribed podcast, right? Which is Brandon Herrera, the fat electrician, stuff like that. They're going after a school district in Buffalo, New York that has had, I think it's 18,000 police interactions since the 1970s. And since 2020, it's something like 10,000 police interactions. And a lot of them are for missing kids, private assaults, shall we say, that were reported by the school to police, but then the police were filing it as just information being taken. And these guys are looking into it. They're doing FOIAs and they're finding out that the school and the police department both were apparently covering up like missing children and essays that happened at these schools.
Every
in
single
Buffalo.
week, a woman is getting arrested for having sex with teenagers, usually students.
This is students and
Hayden.
teachers.
Yeah.
This is a massive scandal. Check out the Unsubscribe podcast for that. It's huge.
Yeah,
they covered it.
It's
very in-depth.
crazy.
Yeah. Yep.
And yes, and someone
But
could
they
say
reported
the
it to the
FBI,
FBI.
and the DOJ have a lot to deal with, and then lots of bad apples that still need dealt with. So the idea that they're just gonna, here's your list, is kind of silly a little bit, and I'm not sure. This one's hard to defend though. Epstein didn't kill himself, according to Kash Patel. So my guess is he means with the information he has, which is obviously the official story, is he's saying he killed himself. And obviously that official story ain't particularly connected to the truth. But that's the thing, is ass covering. FBI, like all of these, the government, like ass covering is like 30% of their job. And that's a problem. And this seems a little ass covering.
Absolutely. Because as soon as they got in, remember, there were talks about the FBI being caught destroying documents, and we still don't know anything about that. They never gave us more information. So
And then,
They
like,
destroy documents every day, probably. We just don't hear about it.
Oh, I'm sure.
And the New York field office guy, they got him to quit because he was hiding all like the Epstein stuff and what have you. And how about instead of him quitting, we prosecute him? Hey,
At least
even if it doesn't work out, maybe we should look into that a little bit. All right, so then that was followed up by Pam Bondi comes out here and says they are working on the Epstein stuff. So apparently they are working on it.
And my problem is she's been saying that since day one, and then she teased like they were about to drop a bunch of information. And she's also the person who was the attorney general in Florida whenever Epstein got a sweetheart deal.
Thank you for that transition, Hayden.
Yeah.
Because
James,
someone also acted like he had some really hot information about this. And he had absolutely nothing and completely embarrassed himself.
Yep.
Does anyone think he had a bombshell here, or does everyone think he embarrassed himself with this?
It wasn't what I expected it to be by any means. It was just basically they got her to admit something a couple weeks prior to public release.
Yeah, it was simply a confirmation of what was already suspected. That's all it was. And whenever people have the bias that they already suspect something heavily, and there's a general cultural agreement that like, okay, this is what we think happened. Whenever somebody comes out with the evidence, everybody's reaction is just, yeah, we know. But
she's talked about this though.
Well,
that's what the whole freaking cover letter was about. On the binders, I page these binders.
The binder
wasn't. Want your damn binders?
Wasn't anything though.
Did you want the cover letter to go with it? Yes, it wasn't anything because the cover letter, because they're hiding the stuff. And then once they had it, they're like, "Oh, we got all this stuff. She's already talked about it." So he absolutely just embarrassed himself. And there are a lot of people who have had some interesting situations.
I don't think it's as bad as you might think it is, but I do think that it was extremely underwhelming. Well, I mean,
wait, who thinks it's bad? For who? It's bad for James O'Keefe. He embarrassed himself terribly.
Yeah, you think I agree he embarrassed himself. But
that's what
I don't think that it's as embarrassing as like most people are taking it, because it was actually a confirmation. It's like getting double confirmation on something that something is factual.
Dude, he put out a video saying, I'm probably going to be killed because of this. And then he came out with absolutely nothing. It was retarded.
And he used Alex Jones as a dead man switch, got him all afraid because he got him all worked up, making him think he had something real. And then Alex Jones led a bunch of people to think that it was going to be something even bigger. And
the dude drops nukes left and right. And all he did was drop a tennis ball.
You are a fraud. The more I know about Pam Bondi, the less I like her. Really? All right. But then.
Yeah, me.
No, this is the liberal. I forgot this. I believe that guy's actually former Democrat, so ignore him. Oh yeah, lots of people who didn't read anything and are like, "Oh, you really got him," but then people who actually understand what's going on and say this isn't a story. What an absolute joke of a hit job, gross dude. So yeah, no, people are seeing it for what it is.
Right, and I'm just saying, I think that like getting a spoken confirmation that's like undercover is a little bit different than a press release. That's like, okay, yeah, but yeah, we already knew that. So he blew it out of proportion.
He underdelivered.
Like, chat,
he did not live up to what he was. He overpromised, I think, and underdelivered. I think that's the main problem.
That's exactly what I think.
Yeah. I don't think he did anything to like lie or he didn't misinform people, but he really overhyped it. The whole going into hiding thing. It's like, oh, he really branded it.
He
well.
exaggerated it for sure.
Yes, exactly.
That's what I'm saying. It was still good to have the extra confirmation with it being an undercover video, but it's not
but
like
you're saying it's a confirmation.
Made some shit up.
He didn't say like, look, we got a double confirmation. He said, hey, look, Pam Bondi is an evil traitor betraying us, doing evil monstrous things.
Yeah, I hate Pam Bondi. That's probably why I'm on his side with this.
Well,
I think she's
that's just confirmation bias.
Seemed very logical.
Yeah,
to
it
me.
is. I think she's disingenuous.
What we're saying though is that he didn't do anything to move the needle, and he was promising to move the needle. Is what it made. It's what he made it sound like.
The biggest story of his career, he went into hiding, and the other thing was he told us about Prince Andrew that we've
that was the big part of it. That's what I'm talking about specifically.
Idiot.
The Prince Andrew stuff. It's like, yes, we all knew, but we got the undercover like confirmation about the Prince Andrew stuff specifically. And it's like, okay, yeah, that's double confirmed. Yes, we already knew that. You didn't need to go into hiding over that because everybody was already talking about it. But the fact that he had an insider, like, I mean, yeah, the royal family's kind of known for offing people.
It's well known that it wasn't Prince Andrew in that picture, dude. He can't sweat. So
yeah,
everyone knows that. All right, so I just want to show off some of the tardation around this. Like, this is my issue: is the amount of people just not using their brains and just embarrassing themselves for clicks. Well, Bondi needs to be removed and Gates needs to be put in. I wanted Gates. I was very disappointed we didn't get him. The reason we didn't get him is because we can't get them because we have a bunch of cucks, you fucking idiot. Which means, Nikki, you don't know what the hell you're talking about. You don't understand politics at all. And if Gates were in, we'd be in the exact same position, and you would all be saying, we need to fire Gates and put someone else in. Trump should have never wavered from his first choice as AG. He couldn't get him through, an idiot. He should have pushed through the BS just like he did with Pete. Why hasn't she arrested the ones on thousands of videos having sex with those little kids? And whatever happened to those little kids? Child sacrifice? Release the names. My Christian page. Click. I'm a Christian. If this is true, then why hasn't she arrested a single person? These children deserve justice. Hey, I get 50,000 interactions because I care about the children, guys. It's time for Pam Bondi to resign. If she won't resign, POTUS needs to fire her. The American people do not trust Pam Bondi. So I thought we needed another 4 years of crazy Democrats destroying the country because we weren't ready. I definitely didn't think Trump was ready, not after what he did during lockdowns. Trump is ready. He went Super Saiyan level 3. When I say we are not ready and we need to step up our shit, this nonsense is what I'm talking about. Guys, stop bitching, stop crying and moaning and saying, where's my binder? Fire Pam Bondi so we get someone else to say it needs to be fired.
Okay.
Get off your ass and help fix the problem.
But Pam Bondi is the one who was the AG in Florida whenever Epstein got his.
Yeah, I keep hearing all about that. Yeah. Over and over.
Which turned into a federal investigation anyways. So it went out of her hands, right?
No, because the first one was state. She actually had full control over that first one that happened.
Okay.
It was the later investigation that went federal. So she was the one who was in control. She could have stopped it and actually put him in state prison because it was a state case with the first case that went through. And she didn't do it. She allowed, because it was actually brought all the way up to her, and she allowed him to have the deal where he like went to prison on the weekends, but only during the day, like it was his fucking job, and then got to go home during the week.
That was James Comey's daughter.
Let me just throw an example
and the guy
out there
she was working with.
That might make things more clearly. The FBI had like 19 copies of Hunter Biden's laptop hard drive.
Yes.
Whatever happened with that? And why did they keep losing it to where Giuliani had to keep giving copies? And we literally had memes about how you can't find my pirated movies on my computer because I labeled it Hunter Biden's hard drive, you know?
Great question.
They're all in the incinerator. There's no evidence. There's no list. There's a investigation that never happened.
Let's look a little more of these reactions.
Wrong. She was after the first case. I might be wrong there. It may not have been the first case, but
So-
I know that state she was in charge of one of them.
So James O'Keefe and a lot of the morons who don't know what they're talking about in the comments are saying that the reason that Pam Bondi came out and did that little thing where she said we were going after them, she only did it to get out in front of my story because I sent it to her people and asked them for a comment. And then so she said this only to get out of it. So she doesn't even actually mean it. James O'Keefe forced her to go out and say those things. That's currently the Q-tardation going through James O'Keefe's and other people's minds. Gerald, who I like Crowder. I don't like Gerald.
I don't like him either.
James has done phenomenal work in the past. Absolutely phenomenal. This isn't that. I really hope there's more. The hype demands it. If not, there's a serious problem developing and people will simply tune out. All right.
I agree with that take.
Over.
I think Gerald summed that up perfectly. Yeah.
62% think that James discredited himself with this to 38% no. So a super majority think he discredited himself. It's
That's
only 16 votes,
60-40. 60-40, basically.
Or super majority. All right. Moving on. Oh, wait. No. I forgot. There's one more. I should have let you keep voting. He has another big Epstein one.
So this is
have
the
you guys
thing that
seen this?
James does, though, right? Like he'll tease something, and then he rolls it out over several days, several weeks. So
he rolls it out every single day for 1 week, and that's not happening.
All right, so this is Epstein's Island Kitchen. I assume this is the drone when it was looking through the window. I assume that was it. So it's this painting. So if you guys are aware of the wait, not what Hillary? What's the I want to keep wanting to say Epstein. What's the Hillary Clinton Podesta? Okay, the Podesta art. If you've seen that, this is basically some Podesta art. I'm gonna pull it down because it's kind of gross.
Yeah.
And this is his big. It's like a baby sitting in a sink holding a vase like bad dragon object looking thing.
It's some Bohemian Grove satanic shit and
it's kind of weird, but
it's
just his. This is his big thing, the Epstein kitchen, guys.
well, that does mean that he or somebody made it to the island, which was apparently being protected because Luke Rudkowski made it there.
Yeah.
And that's recorded some, but got run off.
And that's what he talks about is no one has gotten the footage out of there. So this is the first footage into the kitchen.
He might have more.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about this idiot. So, this is the mayor of Newark, Ross Baraka. New York? Is that in America? The mayor is named Ross Baraka?
New Jersey. It's the
it's
capital.
Newark, New Jersey. Yeah.
But
Newark, New Jersey. Yeah.
In America? Or like New Jersey, Africa?
It's right outside New York City.
Oh, Ross Baraka. Okay. So him and all his gang broke into an ICE detention facility. So this is what we first saw. I'm like, oh, he's just being escorted out peacefully. Okay. Well, he a good boy. He didn't do nothing wrong. All right. So before we get to what he actually did, I double checked this on Wikipedia. Here is his father, Everett Leroy Jones. He is an activist. Let's see what sort of ideas he has. His writings emanated extreme and hostile anti-white sentiment. He viewed blacks as morally superior than whites, whom he believed were innately evil. In his autobiography, he wrote, "A woman asked me in all earnestness, couldn't any whites be helped? I said, you can help by dying. You are a cancer. You can help the world's people with your death." Next one. This is from his 1965 essay. Most American white men are trained to be gamer words. For this reason, it is no wonder their faces are weak and blank. The average au fait, which means white person, apparently, thinks of the black man as potentially having relationships with every white lady in sight, which is true in the sense that the black man should want to rob the white man of everything. Moving on, misogyny and advocacy of relations. Barack advocated for relations of white women by black men, believing that it was a politically legitimate act. He objectified white women, believing that they served as a location of racial struggle rather than as human. Every time. The amount of politicians we have on the left whose parents were full-blown commies just like that is kind of insane. All right, now that you know that, here is them actually. So my question is, does the fat bitch body slam? I believe it's coming up. Does this bitch body slam? Is characterized as a body slam right here, right? Oh, is she? Is that? Oh, is she just blocking for the running back, or because
I think I don't know if it was this video, but there was another angle of her actually like punching at one of the ice.
So she wasn't just hitting him with the muffin top; she was actually taking blows.
She swung. She was throwing elbows and shoulders. Like, she
was assaulting 100%.
No, she was being assaulted. If anything, we were pushed and shoved. Communist man. All right.
That is some rules for radicals type of actions right there. So
yes, it is.
Do you want to see them face some sort of punishment? They already got the arrest, some community service, and some money, and having to pay for a lawyer or something. Does that sound fair?
Eat up their time to where they can't campaign. They can't campaign. That'll be the worst thing that would possibly happen to them.
Okay.
So was it him that was arrested today?
I don't know.
There was somebody, a mayor was arrested today, I think.
That's right. I think I did hear that.
Yeah, I can't remember who it was,
mayors?
but today one of them got arrested, and it was the one that like helped an illegal escape from prison. He got him out of the prison and then let him go, and he got arrested today for letting that illegal go from prison a couple weeks ago.
He was released in his care, and then he let him go.
Yeah. Basically, that's what happened. And then he got arrested by the feds today.
That's crazy.
All right, so back to this. So we all agree that they need to be face justice. Well, Hakeem Jeffries has something else in mind.
Yeah,
they'll find out. They'll find out. They'll find out it's a red line. They know better than to go down that road. There are clear lines that they dare not cross.
Wait,
so
is there like a line you're not supposed to cross into the ICE detention facility?
Yes, and these are the people who try to take Trump off of the ballot in states. These are the people who love persecuting their political enemies. There are clear lines that they dare not cross, such as, when Hillary bleach bits her servers and stuff like that, and her phones. You can't look into her because elections. So you don't cross those lines. And honestly, James Comey shouldn't have even talked about it. It's James Comey's fault she lost, not Hillary Clinton's. There's clear lines. I hope the Democrats burn in hell. What?
The bleaching of the hard drives is fake news. They didn't use a corrosive liquid on the hard drives. Okay,
it's called bleach bit, right? Isn't that what the program or whatever to get rid of? Okay. See, I know things.
It was like the coyote situation. People didn't know what that word meant.
Yeah,
they ride on them, right? They sit on their backs and ride across the border.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
All right, so I got some bad news. Trump and men, they screwed up. They deported a teen with no criminal record to El Salvador prison. His father said ICE agents knew his son was not a target, but arrested him anyways. He's now in El Salvador's mega prison, and he didn't do nothing. Oh, well, Homeland Security's got some other thoughts on that. Let's see. It turns out the teen with no criminal record who Trump deported is a suspected TDA gang member who was charged with criminal possession of a weapon, loaded firearm on school grounds, criminal possession of stolen property, and unlawful possession of certain ammunition feeding devices. Deporte.
Ammunition feeding devices? So magazines?
Yeah, I don't understand. Yeah, magazines?
A mag that holds over 10 rounds probably in that state.
Okay.
So.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
But at school, loaded at school. Yeah, deporte. And what they do, though, is basically by the time you're like, hey, you guys are absolutely fake news, and they've already moved on to the next fake news.
Yep.
And we're too busy trying to fact check them. All right, here we go. As I said, Trump, 20,000 more ICE agents. Yes, please. Everyone wants everything done. Snap of the finger. manpower, man. We need the manpower, and we need Congress to get off their ass and finally actually do something. You wouldn't be mad at someone. Congress, there are so many more reasons to be mad at than Pam Bondi and Kash Patel. Jesus Christ, they have been useless.
I wonder if there's a way for them to take the 80,000 armed IRS agents that they hired under Biden, since they're still federal employees, and just transfer their department to make them ICE agents.
Oh, well, that's
they need to be recruited. Just like when we had low military turnout for, under Biden, we need to have more of those videos of Black Hawk helicopters and like taking down bad guys at the border, like cool ass videos, and get recruitment up for Border Patrol.
You're right, but I'm just saying, if they department transferred those IRS retards to listen,
no, Hayden, I'm going to stop you because that's a retarded idea.
Most of them would quit. That's my point. Then we don't have to pay their severance.
Okay,
I need more people on ICE. Yeah.
I appreciate you thinking out the box, but it's retarded. So he's already done something where he's trying to get like police and other law enforcement to be able to do like border patrol and deportation stuff. So instead of getting a bunch of IRS agents, he's having law enforcement do
That's
it.
Like saying we're
IRS agents to quit, so we don't have to pay severance.
That's like saying we're short on pilots. Let's get the accountants to fly the plane.
To be fair,
That's
though,
not a good idea.
To be fair to Hayden's point, there are door kickers in the IRS. They do have tactical units in the IRS.
Dude, those guys can't handle a 10 millimeter.
Exactly.
That was the FBI too,
that's my point.
Because all the bitches they hired, but still,
it hurts their wrist because
that's where 40 Smith Wesson came from. Yeah.
Are we guys talking about David Hogg again? All right.
Essentially.
All right, so we got a good story because one of the things that really annoyed people with all the migrant hotels is we have homeless veterans. Why the hell are we housing illegals? Why aren't we shooting them in the head or throwing them in the ocean or putting them in Squid Game 3? Why are we paying for them to live? I don't understand. Let's have the taxpayer, let's have people pay taxes and they get to do whatever they want to them. Let's do something. Oh, and no, instead Joe Biden and the cartel get to do whatever they want. No, you can't have your Squid Game 3 or human rights. Illegals don't have human rights. Squid Game 3. Americans first. Trump redirects money to house veterans, not illegals. He's taking money that was supposed to be going to the illegals, and he is redirecting it to help house 6,000 veterans at the VA, Veterans Affairs campus in Los Angeles. America first. This is how it works. This is just, it's so easy. It makes sense. It's smart. The PR is great. Everyone is fully behind it. Everyone wants to support the vets. Even all the ESG crap, you look through that, they support vets. Everyone does. It's just wins for everyone. And the money has already been stolen from us. And good luck clawing that back. So if it's out there, it's already been stolen from us. I'd much rather go to homeless vets than illegals who belong in Squid Game 3. Isaac or ABF, go ahead. We go around.
Our country turned those veterans into what they are. So it's only the right thing to do for us to take care of them again.
You support your warrior class or you have no other classes. Hayden, were you want to say something?
Yeah, no, it's basically just mirroring what ABF just said. It's like they put themselves on the line. It's our duty as citizens of this country who they have protected our borders. They have made sure that things stayed the way that we needed them to stay for our way of life. It's our duty to take care of them now, not to be housing and taking care of a bunch of people from other fucking countries. We have to take care of our veterans first and foremost, arguably above all else. Like they deserve our help.
Correct. There's few things the government should be doing, and like having a military is pretty reasonable, and taking care of the people who fought in the military for us, that I'm pretty okay with my text to go there. Do we need $1 trillion defense budget? Maybe not. Isaac, what are you thinking?
Well, that's a large, not to get all historical, but large portion in part of why Rome fell, because they started treating the soldiers like shit. And we've treated our soldiers like shit for decades now. You could argue for many, many decades, since pre-Vietnam even. And I think it's about time we turn that around and we finally give something back to the people that gave everything. And so it's about time.
Recruitment's turned around, and Trump is June 14th. He wants to do his big military parade.
I'm all in favor of that.
Yes, I mean,
display of force.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and you do the display. I don't like war. I don't want us to go to war. And how do you not go to war? You have a badass military. You do the displays of force, so that way everyone's too afraid to go to war with you.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you prevent war. That and then
you don't
and
have
then you
seven tanks going down the street like North Korea has.
Well, you've got that as the stick, and then you've got the strong economy as the carrot. And then you make people where it's more profitable to keep working with you than it is to go to war with you. And it'd be too mutually assured destruction. Yeah. Because, sadly, we're humans. Sadly, you do have to have that big stick.
So should they wheel a nuclear bomb down the street, like just on a semi truck?
That would be too red square. No, I don't think so.
I like it.
We're trying to de-escalate, Hayden. Jesus Christ.
It'd be funny.
Speaking of de-escalating, should we suspend habeas corpus? Thoughts? So Stephen Miller, a man of many ideas, and they keep doing this hilarious thing, like giving illegals rights that they do not have. And as he points out here clearly, the Article 3 courts aren't even allowed to be involved in immigration cases. Congress has made it clear they've done jurisdiction stripping legislation. So where these people who keep blocking stuff, there's nothing they can do about it. They're not even allowed to be involved with it whatsoever. Their opinion doesn't matter. And then they're doing it as a nationwide injunction, which shouldn't work. You only do like the nationwide injunction stuff if it's like class action lawsuits or whatever. So they are just absolutely fucking the rule of law. We haven't had rule of law or any sort of real justice in 100 years or so. Who even knows, if ever. So this whole idea of, he's going against democratic norms and all this stuff, and he's using all these old laws. I'm kind of fine with it, but there is definitely the concern about it being abused in the future. Their whole argument is you're allowed to use it during an invasion. I would certainly categorize this as an invasion. However, the PR and the leftist spurging out of itness might be a bit effective with people who heard quid pro quo and thought, yeah, impeach him. Also, what's quid pro quo stand for?
One hand washes the other, right?
No, I think it's when Hunter Biden weighs out crack with a crack whore. Something
I was going with the exact definition, but yeah, you're correct.
Okay. No, I think it's crack whores.
My thoughts on that is that because of the way the United States is set up, the federal government can come in and go, shut the fuck up, we're taking these people, we're getting rid of them. You don't need to suspend habeas corpus for that. It's like you were saying, they don't have rights anyway in our country. Just get them the fuck out. There's no reason
they don't understand is that those immigrants, not even immigrants, they're illegals. The illegals that broke the law crossing the border, they do not have the same rights that we do.
Yeah. Right. So and I think the feds need to come in and just do it.
Well, that's what this argument is, essentially.
But no, suspending habeas corpus does it for all citizens.
Yes, because I know, Hayden, but they're being treated as if they have the rights, and that's what they're saying.
Can come in and take them. They just got to balls up and do it.
But literally everyone is blocking them. They need tons of people. They're working so many hours a day. Hayden, why don't you? You should, I think, become Hayden the Dog the Bounty Hunter. I want to see it. First VTuber bounty hunter.
What's the reason why this is becoming such a huge issue is the Democratic Party they're actually throwing all of their weight and money behind jamming up the immigration thing, because that's what they're going to run on the midterms
in the courts.
And the primary. So they have to try to find dirt. That's why they sent people to El Salvador. They're trying to create narratives out of this immigration thing. They need bad stories to run with. So
it's as popular as their trans stance, though. I hope they run on immigration. Oh my God, like Trump won everywhere because of immigration. I pray. I hadn't even thought about that, ABF. They really are ramping up to run on immigration.
No, they're throwing millions of dollars at the courts. They're using lawfare, and they're actually getting these judges behind closed doors saying, "Yo, we need favors to get you to jam this up." And they're like, "All right, promise me a political favor in the future, probably." Like, there's serious corruption going on with this.
Absolutely. But I also think that, there's a point. You either suspend habeas corpus, which acts against everyone inside the United States, or you make them call you a fascist for a month while you just go, nope, we're door kicking.
Yeah, that was my actual, what I was wanting to debate is we all want him to go for the throat, but there's a reason they don't, and that's because the media is going to and it's going to be probably pretty effective. So I would argue against it until it's absolutely necessary. There's so many things we could do before going like full, use of authority.
Yeah, for sure. But also, again, we've brought up Lincoln suspended habeas corpus, but that was so that he could act against governments in the different states that had, different views. And I would prefer you either do a show of force and say, okay, listen, we're the federal government. Like we are tasked with defending the border.
I don't think they're going to say, I decree habeas corpus gonus. I think they're just going to say, fuck all of you courts. We're deporting these people to El Salvador.
I know, but it doesn't matter who's in control of the government. I don't trust them doing things that I don't like them doing.
Yeah, but here's the thing. If the Democrats ever get back into power, we're all doomed and in camps or in everything, nuclear war.
Well, especially if habeas corpus gets, removed under Trump or just like put on a stay, because then they'll do the same thing because Trump did it.
But it is the slippery slope argument. It is.
I know, but I don't think that's how it would work, though. Yeah, it sounds like some libertarian nonsense. They say, fuck yourself, courts. We're sending you to El Salvador. That's my
I think that's the way to do it. Yeah.
Correct. All right. Senator Tom Tillis. Everyone knows about him all of a sudden because he's been a real piece of crap. He's one blocking the Ed Martin situation, and now he's all coming out of, I think, against the prescription drug price thing or something like that. He's being a real piece of work. So what's happening? Laura Trump looking to primary him. Poll shows Laura Trump crushing Senator Tom Tillis 65-11 in a hypothetical primary. Don't be shocked if Senator Trump is trending in North Carolina very soon. Thoughts about a Trump legacy?
I like it just because it'll make them seethe. Like every Trump that gets into an office somewhere will just make them more and more angry. And I'm all for that because I think it's hilarious.
And not a lot of the Trumps are great. Not a fan of some of them, but she took over the RNC or was one of the top positions of the RNC.
Yeah.
And they actually went after a lot of the voter fraud stuff and did a lot of voter turnout stuff.
She's the one that hired Scott Pressler too.
Yeah. Yep. She is a big part of why they were able to win. And we were able to know Trump won before we went to bed. And when we woke up, he had still won. And she gets a lot of credit for that. So Senator Trump, I don't hate it. Wait, actually, ABF, I don't know if you've met Reverse Fart. Great guy. Absolutely love it, dude. Would you like to take this one for him? You got to say in all caps, though.
Okay. I decree a ban on beans and toast, bruv, and Vegemite.
Oi. We got some clips from that for that, bro.
Everyone has AIDS. My grandma and my dog go blue.
Actually, here's ABF's thoughts on Vegemite.
Memo. 4 pounds of C4 may be a little excessive.
You're eating too much of the Vegemite. See, it's delicious. You just have to make sure you get Vegemite just about that size. You put on a piece of. Hold on, no, it's too big. Hold on.
Oh, yeah. Well, everyone's ever hated Vegemite ever is a user error, correct?
Yes, and then
I got it. Okay.
You scrape the butter about 5 times with the butter knife, and it's delicious.
I've been doing 6. I did it 6 times.
And then you
that's fine with the butter.
Cinnamon and some sugar on it too. I love Vegemite. I will say beans on toast. I don't hate. I haven't tried it, but that actually sounds. I can live with some beans on toast.
Guys, we're losing them to the Brits.
Wait, are you? Have you actually had beans and toast?
Yeah, I've had an English breakfast before. It's retarded.
It's
Eggs
war
and
rations.
bacon.
If you're being bombed in World War II, that's what you eat. But that's
All right.
about it.
Pretend the small child in this clip is a British breakfast. Shout out reverse fart. What is a reverse fart? Do we want to find out? Stay tuned.
I don't think I thought, yeah.
Someone spelled it as a revere fart the other day. They forgot the S in it. I'm like, that sounds like a fart fetishist. That actually would probably be more appropriate than reverse fart in that clip.
That's like a Pope level fart, right? Like that's a revere fart. Like
That's like it's probably someone that enjoys Brazilian fart porn.
No, God.
Do you swear it's not hentai though? That's the real question.
I can't. No.
Okay.
When you're in the confessional with the priest and you hear a little squeaker on the other side, that's a revere fart. All right. Absolute pleasure having you all here. Reverse fart. I couldn't do it without you. Thank you for not making me drink pee and put rat traps on my tongue.
Stay tuned.
I just have to watch Green Lantern and Swordfish instead. All right. So Ed Martin didn't get in a U.S. attorney because Republicans be Republican. And however, Trump went, whoo, judo flip. Ed Martin assumes powerful DOJ post, greatest job I could ever envision to target weaponization. What is happening? All right, so after getting blocked by Tom Tillis. Come on, Laura Trump, I know you can do it. All right, so he did such an amazing job. He's going to be the new director of the Weaponization Working Group. And the Associate Deputy Attorney General, so the second Attorney General, and then Pardon Attorney. So he's going to be looking into who's had like the DOJ and FBI weaponized against them and then potentially give them pardons. In these highly important roles, Ed will make sure we finally investigate the weaponization of our government under the Biden regime and provide much needed justice for its victims. Congrats, Ed. And the fact that he just got screwed over on this and on the U.S. attorney thing is probably got him a little fired up. So, hey. I didn't realize we were getting a weaponization working group. I'm happy to see this. ABF, did you have thoughts?
I didn't even know about this. I like everything that you just read off. I think it's I didn't even know that you could form that. I like
and do you know who formed it? Hayden's not going to be happy to see this. Attorney General Pam Bondi gave us marching orders when she got in, and we have a working group that's already been meeting.
Nope, I hate it now. It's terrible. Get rid of it.
Not everything she does is bad. She's just done bad shit in the past, and I don't trust her.
All right, so let's get through some more tabs. We don't have long. All right. So Ed Martin, he was doing an interview, and this is a warning to people. Did you know spitting on people is assault? And did you know assaulting elected officials is extra crime?
Yep.
So you really don't want to spit on elected officials. She's facing 20 years in federal prison. So you guys might have seen the clip and everyone was like, arrest that bitch. They arrested her and she's facing 20 years in federal prison for knowingly assaulting a federal official and potentially millions in legal fines. Guys, don't spit on elected officials. This has been your public service announcement.
Don't spit on anybody. We can't be letting that kind of behavior in our society happen all the time.
Nope.
So it's good that it's being enforced.
Also, shout out, Jeff. Appreciate the raid.
Hey, thanks.
And and people actually facing some consequences. It's nice to see.
Well, okay. So, and to be real, she's not going to face 20 years. She's not going to have millions in fines because there are different levels of assault, but
it's going to fuck up her life. And that's
she
all
could do a couple of years and have to pay a couple $100,000 because you do not assault elected officials.
Sadly. All right.
We used to tar and feather them, but
yeah.
And the tar was not room temperature. Remember that. That was
it was not.
They didn't make it through the event.
As a kid, I think, man, that must have been so hard to get off.
You don't have to get it off because you're
dead.
Yeah, you're not worried about it anymore.
Yep. You don't have a face anymore.
Yeah, and even if it doesn't melt, and even if you're like it hardened up, your skin has to be able to breathe too. So even if you were alive, you wouldn't be for long. All right. So we like to laugh at Europe for getting Islamified. We like to cry for Europe for getting Islamified. Texas has halted any construction of Epic City. Had you guys heard of this?
Oh, yeah.
The Muslim Sharia law compound. It's a Sharia super city. I mean, epic city. So not only are they saying, nah, this construction ain't happening, there are fun little criminal investigations. And Hayden, close your VTubers really quick. Pam Bondi is also investigating it as well.
Again, I'm not fully against her, but she's done some shitty stuff in the past. That's all.
This isn't the only example of a mega city like that happening. I believe it was 2022. They started, and I think actually built a bunch of houses for illegals. It was a huge corporation, and they basically built all these little houses and sold it to people without needing to have any sort of credit check. So they gave loans to illegals and basically held them hostage with housing.
Yeah, so I'm from Texas.
Funding,
and
probably.
What they did was a big corporation came in. Yeah, they bought this area. They built all of these houses. And then they gave them exorbitant loans for the houses and only made them pay like a couple $100 a month for like their quote unquote mortgage. But they were locked in, like you can't leave for 20 years kind of thing. And
it was like kind of like a subprime situation where it increases over time. Yeah.
Yeah. And so the problem, Ninja Master just said in the chat, can Texans explain this one to me? I thought you were deep in the Bible Belt. How did you not see where an all-Muslim megacity would lead? The problem is that they used the legal system that we have in Texas where you're able to buy a bunch of land and build basically whatever the fuck you want, because we don't have as strict of zoning laws in like rural Texas. So they came in and they said, okay, this is our land. We're going to build thing. And it was a little bit more difficult to try to stop them from doing that because we're a more free state. So that's why these criminal investigations and stuff like that had to be opened up, because as they started looking at, okay, where's the funding coming from? What's happening? They were able to at least open these investigations and put a stay on them actually being able to progress.
I just say ban all Muslims. Just get them out.
I don't disagree, but we don't have time to get into that. I was literally just thinking about that today. Well, yeah, because I said on your stream yesterday is European, Christian, or white? All right, sounds good. We were talking about the South Africans. All right, sounds good. Otherwise, you're not welcome. Convert to Christianity, and
that's what this country was built for. Yes.
Sorry, we tried mass immigration. It destroyed everything. So we're going to try the opposite for a little while, and we're going to see how that goes. And if we manage to fix things, then maybe we'll let the third world back in.
Freedom of religion means different Christian denominations. That's what that means if you read the Constitution.
I have to
pretty much
push back on you there, but I get where you're going with it. It's just the wording wasn't correct. But no, it's like bringing in. So we're basically doing what Erwin just said, where we just allowed 59 South Africans into the country. It's a lot fucking different than 100,000 in like 3 months, right? It was 59,
and they're more than welcome.
And they're probably able to get jobs and be self-sufficient and aren't going to be on the government dole forever.
Oh, but haven't you seen they're going to take black farmers' jobs because racism or something?
I did have some tabs, but the left all of a sudden hate refugees when they're white.
That's crazy.
We're not discussing
They said
that
we
today,
need to secure our borders. It's not just lines on a map. We need to secure our country from this Trump mass immigration.
Yeah.
Yeah, they called it David Hogg. Discovered meritocracy and such. All right. So, last thing. We're skipping all the European stuff. They're going into a sci-fi dystopia, guys. They extra need to get up off their butts. Man arrested as terrorism police investigate 3 suspected arson fires at properties linked to known cokehead UK prime minister. So you know how they were all doing coke the other day on the plane and were absolutely embarrassed, and he also just had to come to America and do a deal with Trump and get totally embarrassed. Oh, well, he goes back and Oh no, some of my old properties and cars are getting firebombed. I'm a victim as my
fucking house
polling
got burned
is
down.
abysmal, guys. How coincidental is that? Have sympathy for me, so strange. Anyone have any concerns about the timing of this?
So I think what it is that he recently started coming out against open immigration, which is crazy because he wasn't against it for a long time, and then he was against it.
It's like
And
Trudeau pausing it, though, you know.
the thing is, they didn't release the name of the person that they arrested for firebombing one of his properties. And it makes you kind of go, oh, I remember other times that they didn't release the name.
I heard that when they arrested him, he yelled out, "This is MAGA country, get the hell out of London."
Okay.
So
ABF, do you have any thoughts about this? Oh, man.
Well, I was gonna say he's probably probably harshed his high from all the car bombs and stuff. I think maybe he is a victim.
Wait, the firebomber or Keir Starmer, the cokehead?
The cokehead.
They're both victims. No one did anything wrong, guys. Why can't we just get along, do some coke, throw some firebombs, start World War III, you know?
Quit harshing my high, bro.
I legitimately think that this was a Muslim immigrant that got mad and burned down his house because they didn't release his name, race, any description. Nothing came out about the person.
90% chance he's Pakistani. Yeah,
unidentified teenagers, group of teenagers. That's usually what it is.
I legitimately don't think that it was Keir in, as Lord Shadow said, CYA mode. I think that he left and his house got burned down, and and it was just because he came out against mass immigration.
Now I'm saying, the timing is odd, though.
The timing is odd for sure. For sure, I can agree with that, but I really think that the radical left got mad because he made a more a move that was more toward the right wing. It was just like, hey, we have to stop this mass immigration. Otherwise, there's not going to be any more British people. And they got really fucking mad about it and burned down one of his houses.
And well, one of the houses he used to live in, and then a car or something. Yeah. So Trump, while they were during the part of the ceremony in Saudi Arabia, when then "I'm proud to be an American" song playing, did you guys see that? And all the and then the camera pans to all the Middle Eastern dudes and all their Muslim garb. It's just, "I'm proud to be an American." It was so good. We're back, baby. ABF. Anything you want to plug, buddy?
We have Trigger Happy tomorrow, our show that is right before the GCA's Leighton Gay show.
Yeah. Badger stream, ABS stream, GCA stream. It's beautiful. It just flows right into another human centipede style.
And I'm right in the middle.
The worst position.
The worst part. Wait, would you rather be in the middle or at the end?
Oh, man. I don't know. Don't make me answer that.
Well, you know what? Fortunately for you, ABF, you are both in the middle and at the end of that human centipede.
Moving on, Hayden, plug, please.
Yeah, I'm trying to get back into making one video a week at least on stuff that I really get passionate about. If I get that inspiration, I'm gonna try to make that video. Other than that, Monday on ABF's channel, Tuesday here, and Wednesday on the GCA.
Wait, why do we need a front and an end? They should be big enough where they could wrap around and they could do a circle, a human circlepede.
That would mean that we have to go for an entire week, and then that's full circle, right?
Yeah.
People do the 24-hour live streams of all their old stuff. Yeah, I think that's when we hit the infinity. Wait, Hayden, did you plug yet? Say words.
Yes,
I Isaac. All right, no, you had your turn. Isaac, plug.
Subscribe to me on YouTube. Just today, we finally hit 250. We met the goal before the time was up, so we did that.
Oh, thank God! So we can all unsubscribe now.
No, I would request not to, but
on one of my accounts at least, right? ABF,
you can have multiple 250 celebrations.
Didn't Isaac terrorize you with saying he was going to unsubscribe before you hit 1,000 or whatever? Yeah, you threatened. He's right at that
He did.
250. It sure would be terrible to hit that 250 mark and be all happy, and then us subscribe and him get sad. That would be.
It's almost as though I have the
terrible of us.
power of 3 accounts subs to Isaac
Almost
right
as
now.
if I have the power of 5. You never know. I mean,
Oh boy.
KBF. All right. All right. He said words. We all applaud.
Monday night, 8 p.m. Eastern. That's all.
Absolute pleasure having everyone here. Thanks for putting up with me. Thank you so much for letting me play video games and watch Green Lantern and then talk about politics. That's what I did today. That's my
And
job.
Swordfish.
And I got like 5 videos, 7, 8 movies to go, and then Swordfish. But
The Green Lantern movie, Ryan Reynolds.
I don't know why it got all the hate. It's not like particularly great, but it's an okay movie. It's at least a 5.5. But I will be discussing that Thursday. Till then, it's been an absolute pleasure, and we don't need the long outro, right? We could just have Sydney Sweeney outro.